Have you ever wondered about the hidden gems of television history? While shows like Friends and The Brady Bunch dominate our conversations, many remarkable series have slipped into obscurity before diving into this nostalgic journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Let's take a stroll down memory lane and revisit some old network TV shows that deserve more recognition. Uh, the Mob Squad was a groundbreaking series featuring a diverse team of crime fighters. Despite a failed movie adaptation in the late 90s, uh, the original show remains a stylish classic that broke barriers. Uh, Saint Elsewhere may not have had massive viewership, but it cultivated a loyal fan base with a stellar cast, including Denzel Washington. This six-season drama uh, deserves a second look. And Sliders faced challenges with frequent cast changes, particularly after Jerry O'Connell's departure. This instability may explain why it's often overlooked in sci-fi discussions, despite its intriguing premise. Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom was a unique blend of education and entertainment. Running for 18 seasons, it showcased wildlife adventures, yet it's largely forgotten today. Um, Raymond Burr is best known for Perry Mason, but his role in Ironside, where he played a wheelchair-bound detective, is often overshadowed. This series deserves more attention for its innovative storytelling. Even Falcon Crest featured Jane Wyman as a memorable villain, yet her performance often goes unrecognized. And this soap opera captivated audiences in the 80s and is worth revisiting. Soap launched the careers of stars like Robert Guillaume and Billy Crystal, yet it rarely gets mentioned among iconic sitcoms. Its spinoff, Benson, seems to overshadow it. The Parenthood was one of the WB Network's early shows, starring comedian Robert Townsend. Despite its modest popularity, it's often forgotten in discussions about 90s television. Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color was revolutionary for its time, being one of the first color TV shows. Yet it rarely comes up in conversations about classic television. Uh, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman broke ground with a female lead in the 90s. And Jane Seymour's portrayal of a 19th century doctor was groundbreaking, but it seems to have faded from memory. Riptide followed a group of private detectives with exciting tools at their disposal. And despite being produced by Stephen J. Cannell, it doesn't receive the recognition it deserves. Wings was a charming sitcom set in Nantucket, yet it often gets overshadowed by other NBC classics. Its talented cast and engaging storylines deserve a second chance. Barnaby Jones featured Buddy Ebsen in a detective role after the Beverly Hillbillies. While it was popular in the 70s, it's often forgotten in discussions about his career. 227 was a ratings powerhouse with a predominantly African-American cast. despite its success, it seems to be less celebrated than other NBC sitcoms of the era. Just Shoot Me was a comedic gem featuring a stellar cast, including David Spade. Um, However, it has largely become a forgotten classic over time. Airwolf was a thrilling series about a high-tech helicopter. Its catchy theme song remains memorable, even if the show itself has faded from popular culture. Spencer, for Hire, introduced audiences to a beloved literary detective. Although it ran for 3 seasons, it's often overlooked in discussions about detective shows. Give Me a Break starred Nell Carter and enjoyed 6 successful seasons. Despite its popularity, it seems to have been overshadowed by other sitcoms of the 80s. In the House, featuring LL Cool J, had a tumultuous journey across networks. Uh, um, its lack of a permanent home may explain why it's now largely forgotten. Uh, Third Watch was a captivating procedural that featured remarkable actors. And despite its quality, it has faded into obscurity since its conclusion. The Jackie Gleason Show showcased the legendary comedian's talent, while The Honeymooners remains iconic. His variety show deserves more recognition. Dharma and Greg, created by Chuck Lorre, is often overlooked despite its humor. It's a shame that this delightful series doesn't get the attention it deserves. Um, um, Emergency laid the groundwork for modern police and firefighter dramas. Its influence has waned, but it was a staple of 70s television. NYPD Blue was groundbreaking in its portrayal of police work. Despite its legendary status, it's surprising how seldom it's mentioned today. Uh, Head of the Class followed a group of gifted students. While it had potential, it didn't leave as lasting an impression as other sitcoms. The 1980s reboot of The Twilight Zone was terrifying in its own right. Though it doesn't compare to the original, it still delivered memorable stories. News Radio featured a talented ensemble cast, including Phil Hartman. This show was a comedic treasure that deserves more recognition from the sea and more air